Greetings, this is Mike, and welcome to the channel. Today's video is a little special since this is the first time I took out Vera for a ride. Vera is a 2024 Vespa Primavera S 150 with a beige livery. In my previous videos, the bikes I feature have already been ridden by me for several hundred miles. I didn't decide to start this channel until recently, and Vera is the first new motorcycle after the channel has launched. When the Vespa arrived, it just had under 5 miles on the total odometer. I saw a pre-delivery checklist for Vespas in the past, and dealers typically test ride new scooters between 4 to 7 miles prior to handing the keys over to the new owners. The owner's manual states that during break-in, to not exceed 80% of the top speed of the scooter. For this ride, I'll try to stay within that parameter. Modern Vespas typically don't have a tachometer, but since there's automatic CVT bikes, it's not really necessary. This Primavera has the latest non-TFT instrument panel introduced for the 2024 model year. I like this new style. It has quite a bit of information available to the rider. Jumping ahead, I think I'll do some exploring around these warehouse buildings. The great thing about scooters, especially light and playful ones like this Vespa, is that exploring new places is an absolute pleasure. If you like turning, the bike is already on the move as if by telepathy. Adjusting my left mirror, I think it came loose. Slowing down, might as well get a feel for the slow speed manners of this Vespa, which is very excellent. Yeah, my mirror came loose. No biggie, I'll fix it when I get home. Okay, time to play a bit here in this parking lot. I'm taking the turns pretty wide, trying to get a feel for it. Throttle response is linear and not overly sensitive. Weaving in and out of this parking lot is a breeze. Jumping ahead again, heading to my favorite practice spot. Got some Canada geese on the side there. What's nice is that this place has a ring road that allows me to get up to speed and practice emergency braking and swerving. Also, since it has some curves, I can play around with the cornering and leaning too. I'm loving the nimbleness of the small frame Vespa. It's not super light at nearly 300 pounds, but dances around with ease. Okay, let's do some parking lot maneuvers. Puttering around at 5 miles per hour is pretty easy. The bike is easy to balance. I'm kind of simulating being in a shopping center or grocery store parking lot. Right-hand turns are still my weakness, but doing 2 spaces wide on the Primavera isn't too hard. Then again, Vespas were made to do this sort of thing, tight turns in an urban environment. We got some more Canada geese roping around the parking lot. I'm gonna get a little closer, but not too close to bother them too much. This Vespa is probably not too threatening to them. They're walking away, but not in a great hurry. These geese are pretty substantial birds. I bugged them enough, so let's get out of here. So far, the suspension is pretty supple, considering the Vespa doesn't have too much suspension travel like my ADV 160. I'm going to take this turn and see how she handles. Felt pretty confident and stable during the lean. Time to lean it in again. Not too aggressive of a lean since the tires are still very new and not scrubbed in yet. Well planted even with these small wheels. How's the acceleration? Let's find out when the lights turn green. Of course, I won't ring the bike out at the moment, but just enough to feel the acceleration. Torque feels a little softer than the ADV 160 at first glance. I have read that the Primavera does feel a little peppier as it breaks in. Another warehouse complex to play around in. Weekends are great since these places are mostly vacant and are a great place to practice without worrying too much about getting run over by a car or truck. This place is where I like to take photos and do walk-around videos of my bikes. The background is pretty picturesque when facing away from the warehouse buildings. Testing the suspension on the speed bump. I can certainly feel the bump, but it doesn't feel like the scoot wanted to buck me off the seat. Going to take a quick stop here to record some footage for the walk-around video. If you haven't seen that video, I have added the link in the description. I've added the accessory side stand just to make getting on and off the scooter a bit easier. The signature Vespa look has a step-through frame and makes dismounting the bike easy. The ADV has a big hump in comparison, so the process is a bit more cumbersome. All done with the photo shoot, let's continue on with this maiden ride. While Vespa promotional images show stylish people in light everyday clothes, in the real world a Vespa is still a motorcycle, and falling on the ground at 35 miles per hour plus is still the same for any two-wheeled vehicle. So I gear up the same way as I do for my quote-unquote real motorcycle. Unlike the ADV 160, which has a keyless system, the Vespa has a traditional blade key inserted into the ignition. I'm going to take the opportunity to play around a bit in this parking lot before leaving. Now we're riding past the general aviation / executive side of the Reno Tahoe International Airport. Looks like there's a C-130 Hercules parked on the tarmac. I'm going to head back. There's rain in the forecast and the clouds are starting to look ominous in the distance. At this stoplight, I'm alongside a full-size pickup truck, and I'm going to take a wide turn to give myself space just in case he overshoots. I can feel the Primavera can get up to speed quicker, but I don't want to push it too hard just yet. Even with me holding back, I can actually pull away from the traffic behind me and kind of left them in the turn. Funny thing is that the pickup wasn't speeding past me. It kind of just hovered next to me. Maybe he was checking out my stylish Italian ride. There's a bit of a hill here, and the Vespa was coming up the hill just fine. Gave it a bit more throttle so it can maintain speed. The truck still hasn't passed me by yet. But BMW guys is having none of it, and rev past. BMW driver is gonna do BMW driver things, that's for sure. The funny thing is with a Vespa or a scooter in general is that I'm having a ton of fun not going very fast. It's just a blast. Tight turns from a stop are easy on this scooter. Just turns with no effort. On that note, we're going to end our very first voyage on Vera, the Primavera. We're going to have many more rides on this Vespa in future videos. If you like what you saw, please leave a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe to the Global Rider channel. Until the next ride, have a good one.